Welcome to Unstapled Commander. Welcome back to Unstapled Commander. It's been a little while. My name's Alex. Forgot my name there for a second. I'm here with Jason and Maddie.
How's it going, guys?
And here at Unstapled Commander, we scoop at instant speed. We're going to be talking about the roadmap today that Wizards came out with. Just kind of give our opinions and hash out what we think of the sets, or basically what we can determine from the titles of the sets, I guess. Before we get to that, though, today's Commander Spotlight is going to be about a deck that I built called Greven Predator Captain. I played it in one of our episodes that may or may not have made it up on YouTube, so I'll let you guys decide on that or figure that out. Basically, the commander is 3 colorless, a black and a red. He's got Menace, and it says when Greven Predator Captain gets +X+0, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn. Whenever he attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you draw cards equal to that creature's power, and you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. This deck is a blast to play. It's really unsafe most of the time because I want to take damage so that I can pump Greven up as much as possible, but I have to balance that out with a lot of life gain effects, a lot of life like stealing effects, just so I can stay in the game. Aggro decks always kind of get punished in Commander because you have 3 people that you need to kill, and Greven is as aggro as they come. I can sack 16 of my life to make him a 21-5 and swing at someone for lethal, but now I'm at a little more than half health, and I still have 2 opponents to deal with. So it's really fun. There's a lot of push and pull. I use cards like Essence, Capture, to drain people's health. I use cards like Treasonous Ogre to add red mana to my mana pool, but also do damage to myself. And of course, I've got Hatred in the deck. I mean, that's Greven's portrait on Hatred, so you have to play it based on, circumstances.
You don't have a choice.
It's a really great deck. Yeah, I don't have a choice. And then on top of all of that, he draws you a ton of cards. I have a bunch of creatures in the deck that are really, really low mana cost because they have huge downsides if you let them stick around, but they're huge like attack and defense. So I throw one down, I sack it to Greven, and I'm drawing like 8 cards a turn and taking 8 damage, but that means Greven is swinging in for, 13 damage just on that base alone. So it balances itself out really well. It's a really great deck. It gets out of hand really fast if people don't kill Greven. That's like, I'd say the only real weakness of the deck is that it's a little risky, and if Greven dies, especially when I'm at low health, like if I'm at 15 or less health and Greven dies, I basically lose the game. There's no way that I can build a life total fast enough to kill somebody at that point before I just die.
Yeah, I love this deck because it's your high risk, high reward deck. I think decks like that are really, really fun to play. It's also one of your scariest decks, I think, for sure. I feel like you always have a way to get as much life paid as you want. You have a lot of cards that say pay X life and do something, you can just keep doing it. So you can make Greven lethal, and he's always unblockable in some way or another because of Silent Arbiter or something, because he has Menace. So he's really hard to block. I think it's one of your scariest decks, but it's also, I think it's one of your better decks because it's just high risk, high reward. It looks really fun to play.
It's honestly extremely fun. And yeah, I forgot to mention that. Like, if I get a good hand, such as a haste enabler and a jeweled lotus in my hand, and I can get Greven out on turn 3, I can kill someone on turn 3
Mm-hmm.
usually. I can only kill one person, and usually what happens is the deck goes off, I kill somebody, and then the other 2 players freak out and they immediately kill Grevin, so the game stalls and it ends up just being a crappy time for that one person. Uh, but if the stars align, yeah, you'll actually you actually see in one of the games I killed Matty out of nowhere, even though he had like 15 creatures.
This is literally out of nowhere. Technical difficulties.
Come back,
Yeah,
Matty said.
literally out of
Yeah.
nowhere. But yeah, Jessica Thrice Reborn is insane because I only need to take 2 damage to make Grevin a 7/5, and then she triples that damage, so that's 21. That's exactly where I need to be to kill somebody. So if I can give him unblockable, and Jessica's only 3 mana, I can kill somebody. It's extremely, extremely cool.
Okay, well, on that point right there about the commander damage, it's a hot take on it, but do you think it should be increased?
I don't think so.
Or do you think 21's a good number?
I think 21 is a fine number.
Yeah.
I do too. Like, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I see on like Reddit and stuff when I'm scrolling through, and it's like people complain, and it's like, well, it's like makes it more standard based. I can get you for 20.
Voltron's already really hard to
that-
play, so I think if
most
they
scam.
increased it, it would just make Voltron harder because everybody just kills Voltron commanders, right? And then their deck doesn't do a whole lot without their commander. So like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I feel like Voltron's already weak enough of a.
Well, Voltron's already weak enough, and aggro in general is already weak enough. Like I said, you have to kill 3 people. You have to get through 120 life, and that's if nobody is gaining any life, which there's so many cards.
Gila deck.
Very
I hate
true.
with warriors.
Najila.
That's very true. That's very true. Najila is
Surprise,
pretty
surprise,
good. We've
Najila can kill
established.
people.
It's so dumb.
Hey.
It's so dumb that her ability doesn't require her to swing. If it required her to swing, you could eat her in combat and it wouldn't be as broken as it is.
I think her ability. I think her not to create warriors, but I think her Wooburg ability. She should be attacking. She doesn't have to attack.
To create, yeah, she just sits there and gets value for you.
Well, not creating. No, I'm just talking about if you tap for Wooburg and you get another combat step.
No, that's what I'm saying.
She doesn't have. Yeah, she doesn't have to be attacking, and then if you have a way to give things haste, then because you give other things haste, and there's some cards that like, oh, if you tap this, give another creature haste, you could do it and get Najila out too.
When was she printed? For the first time?
Battleborn.
Can't.
Battleborn? Maybe they thought that getting 5
Battle Bond, not Battleborn.
Oh, I knew what you meant. Sorry. I wonder if they thought getting 5 colors of mana was going to be harder or something. So they thought they had to amp her up a little bit.
You got the check lands, the like opponent check lands in that set too.
Yeah,
That's where you got your original ones.
it just seems like they should have done something. Like you said, they should have made it so she had to attack, or even like maybe a cruel celebrant, or not cruel celebrant, blood celebrant. The one, no, it's not blood celebrant. The one where when you attack, you exert it and it gives you an extra combat step.
Combat celebrant.
Combat
Which I have in my
celebrant.
deck.
Thank you. Something like that seems a little more balanced on the
Yeah,
Najila.
definitely.
I mean, they both
But
cost
I
3
don't know.
mana.
Yeah, but the worst part is like I can be doing nothing and I pop the G and everyone's like, oh, he's going off, and they just start focusing me. But anyway, I'm not gonna talk over your commander spotlight. This is your week.
Because
so-
you have to kill Najila. Anyway, yeah, Grevin. Grevin's really great. Not as
back.
good as Najila, but really great.
No, Grevin's still good. No, I was gonna say that is a fun deck to play against because I have to play it safe because I'm like, oh, I can just swing wide, I'll be okay, and I gotta remember triggers. Because did you know that it gives everybody the lifelink of my creatures?
The trample,
Yeah, I
lifelink,
forget
and
all the
haste.
time.
You can activate. I don't know if you ever do this. You can activate this
Yeah.
before combat damage, can't you? So you get lifelink for both combats.
I'd have to double check. I think so, but I always kind of watch fill the table to see how things are failing before I activate it.
See, and if they change the commander rule, Grevin would never be able to compete like that against that much life gain. It would be impossible.
Well, I'm not saying it's like high as high. I was like maybe like a 30.
I'm thinking
instead of
like
21.
12.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Let's make it 10.
No,
Let's make it the
you know how
same
fast
as
that would
infect.
die?
All commanders now have infect. That would
With-
suck.
Honestly, I think they should make infect a little bit more. I think they should make infect like 15 or something. That's
like,
just
you
me.
know, like we
We're gonna talk about that
Phyrexia
when we
takes
talk about
over.
Phyrexia.
Yeah. But
But no, it is a fun deck to play against. I just want you to know that. Like,
oh no, I know.
only deck- like I have to admit, the only deck I have played against you that I don't like playing against is that Rakdos one where you make everybody sack half their stuff.
So I was literally
But that-
about to bring that up because that deck became this deck because I hated
Yeah,
playing that
I
deck
know.
as well.
Yeah, it's because you and Jason used to get. in
We've
fights
never
with-
been in a fight in our
Jason knows about
lives.
it.
Not just
You guys are like a married couple.
not just that, the fact that it makes me sack half my stuff was just not fun for me. I had to build an entire deck around mitigating that ability, and it was much easier to just change my commander and play a much more
Yeah.
fun deck. And
But, like, honestly, thinking of like through your decks, like that's the only one I can think I don't like playing against.
yeah,
Your horror deck, but
horror
that's just because
horror deck is mill and theft. That deck will never
you
be
know how I feel about theft.
kosher. That nobody will ever like that deck.
Well, I like the concept of it, but it's like, is it really horror themed?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like it's more like I'm
Yeah,
gonna steal
it's
your
horror
stuff
tribal.
theme. That's like me saying my Njila's warrior tribe will run the Revi and Gloom Tender.
Nice.
Would you say it's almost like building a shrine deck and putting Ragavan and Thassa's Oracle in it?
I almost
Oh my
went with that last
gosh.
night.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. They're good cards, Maddie.
Oh
my
gosh.
Did you want to talk about Infinity though?
Yes. Oh, as we are enjoying our conversation, let us talk about something we are not going to enjoy,
That was a great segue.
and it's gonna be Infinity. Oh my god. Okay, you know it's a cool concept. Like if it was its own thing, but now they're like, hey, they're gonna be Commander legal or Eternal Format legal, and it's like, no,
I hate it.
stop. That's their section, and they can play their thing. This is our section. We're gonna play. But one of our friends at the game shop made a good point yesterday. Is if they drop something that you don't like, Infinity, just scoop.
Mm-hmm.
I just joked and said I was gonna flick
100%.
it off the table and say no, but I think I'm just gonna scoop and like literally just stand up and walk away.
Dude, if
Like, it
anybody
just-
if anybody gets out any stickers,
Any
I'm
stickers.
scooping.
I hate the stickers.
Any stickers. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so I know me wrong, and I am super like upset about this, and I'm excited though. But the lands in that set, every
They
unset
are
has
pretty.
amazing lands, and it sucks.
No, it doesn't suck. That
It's
that
a cash grab for it.
that was the draw, right? Like in the past, and I'm not a business major or whatever, but in my opinion, Wizards of the Coast would do cool lands and unsets to draw in people like us that don't like the
It ain't
unsets.
drawing me in.
And it was fine.
I know.
And it was fine. Like honestly, I think they made money. I bought a shiz ton of the last unset because I loved the full art lands.
On Staples lands, like
The
yeah,
unstapled lands. Yeah, those
Yeah.
were so cool.
but not to be confused with Unstable Commander. which
Yeah,
sucks.
I think I said unstapled. Unstable. Yeah. Those were so cool. And I picked up a bunch of sets just for those lands. I mean, the rest of the cards, I think I ended up throwing them away, to
Good.
be honest with you. But the lands were just
Good.
cool. I don't think
Yeah.
they need to make the other cards legal for people to buy the set.
Yeah, I wish I'd be more okay if there wasn't a handful of cards that are now going to be legal, and I got to remember those rules to those because.
No, you don't. You
we're-
just
now
scoop
we're
when you see
playing
the
card
acorn.
runs,
That acorn hits the table and you're like, bye.
Yeah. well, the 4 lands though.
Oh my gosh.
And with that,
I
scoop.
hate them so much. They're so cheesy. I've played against some unstable decks and unstable cards, and I don't hate it when people play them if they ask us beforehand. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, you can play your unstable cards, but I just like when I have to balance a card on top of my head or something, and then if it falls off my head, I have to discard my hand. It's like, I'm not here to be uncomfortable while I'm trying to play my game and try to focus on this card on top.
I'm here
Like,
to relax.
I want to lean back.
Why
Like,
you gotta
I
on my card
hate this so
Like,
much.
Come on,
It's
bro. I worked
oh,
up,
shred
I
up
worked
your
months
card and
that
throw it on the
card.
table and blow up everything that your card touches. Like, why are we doing this? And why are some of these cards now going to be legal? Like the new Jace, that's going to make sectors and like, oh, only this guy can
Whoa.
attack this guy, and you can only block if it's in the same sector.
Excuse me, his name
Space
is not Jason,
Bellarmine.
it's
I'm
Space
so sorry.
Bellarmine, okay?
It is the stupidest thing I've ever
It's
seen in my
Jace-
life.
It's
And don't
Jason
like
cosplay.
that card. Think about it for a second. How good would that card be in my Azorius deck?
Oh,
Just saying, you guys can't
No,
attack
it'd
my
be amazing.
commander because my commander's a planeswalker unless you're in. Yeah, or whatever. You know, it's
Beta.
like. It's so stupid though. I just cannot get my head around this. Like it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I completely agree.
Like, don't get me wrong, I am over the moon for those.
They're
lands.
pretty.
Like, oh,
There's
those are
one thing
amazing.
coming from the
Espe-
set.
Especially
one
like,
good
some
thing.
Of them, but like, it's like, oh, come on, guys, and it's like I saw a thing on my phone. I was at work today. I was like, oh, top 16 legal commanders from Infinity, and I'm like, oh, 16 of them. I have to worry about 16 of these things.
See, and maybe that's why I just had this thought right now. Maybe that's why they made some of those cards legal, because they've been printing so many full art lands in regular blocks. They were worried that people wouldn't be drawn in by full art lands anymore, so they had to do something
Well,
else.
it's not the four. They're the shocklands, dude. This is a perfect. This is the first time I've seen a set that has all 10 shocklands.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty great. I want the shocklands personally.
Shocklands are expensive right now. I butchered what Space Bellarmine does, so we can cut that
Yeah.
out.
Nope.
Because it's only
Nope,
during
we're
my
not cutting
turn,
it out.
or only
We're
during
doing
the
it
player that
live.
has Space Bellarmine. It only matters during their turn.
It's fine. It's
Well, if you're
fine.
playing
Yeah,
Space
but
Marines,
either way,
it
yeah,
matters.
like I'm
It's
not gonna have any
it's a-
opponents when I play the card because they're all gonna scoop. Because nobody wants to play Magic the
Yeah,
Gathering
Rowan,
against
like,
Buzz
nope.
Lightyear.
Hey, I'd be okay with Buzz Lightyear. I don't want to play against Space.
Buzz
so, yeah.
Lightyear.
Yeah, I butchered what he does. Sorry, everybody.
But
No, you're okay. So
but Alex, I know you were pumped about this, and you know more about the lore. I'm just looking at some of the cool effects, but you want to tell us about Warhammer, man? Worst part, real quick. Same day, great set Warhammer.
Oh,
Infinity
man.
down here.
they had to do it that way to balance how cool Warhammer was. Honestly, I'm not really familiar about the lore of Warhammer. I wish I was more familiar because everything I found out about it is just so cool. I love the dystopian. I don't know if I'd call it dystopian, sci-fi setting of Warhammer.
Well, it's sci-fi crusades, dog.
Yeah, it's space Nazis, space knights. It's awesome. I love it. Honestly, the problem is, and Jason, you can probably speak to this better than I can. The art is really cool. However, it doesn't really fit the fantasy setting of Magic the Gathering because it is a Universes Beyond set.
Yeah, that's why. So I know you guys both really like this set and you think the art's really cool. And I think the art's alright. I just don't like seeing things that are so out of place on the table. That's why I don't like some of a lot of people have this problem with the secret lairs, right? They felt out of place. They didn't feel like they belong. Like the Stranger Things secret lair, like that doesn't belong in Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I'm talking to you too. And the what's the other one that everybody was really mad about? The Walking Dead, yeah. Like that one-
Walking Dead. That one basically.
Oh my
burned
gosh,
down
everybody was
Magic.
so mad about it, and I still feel that way about stuff like this Warhammer set coming out because it's like these space marines. It looks like StarCraft, and like I'm playing like elves and stuff, and like people with swords. I've got swords and
gonna-
shields
you're
and
gonna
bows
get
and
your-
arrows, and you're coming down in like a full set of armor with a machine gun, and you're like, it just feels
Hey,
really
hey,
weird.
Hey, Space Marines. Space Marines have swords too. They're
Yeah,
just
so
chainsaw
that still
swords.
feels really weird. And I know there's some stuff that come close. Like we were talking about how Phyrexians are kind of metalwork, kind of similar to this. They're machines, right? They're machines, but they're just different because they still fit the aesthetic, I think, that comes along with Magic the Gathering, and I just don't think Warhammer fits it at all, and it kind of bothers me.
So what you're saying is we should have switched the release of this with another Universal Beyond set and put this at the end of the Phyrexian.
That's
now.
the
Yeah,
the
we'll
aftermath
warm them
is
up
now
to
it's
it.
Warhammer. That's
Yeah.
Well, okay, that would have been not a spoiler, but that would have been a definite palette like changer from going from Space Marines to we're going.
we're in a fantasy
Eldritch.
world that's
Yeah.
so far in the past is what this is Magic the Gathering is supposed to be, right? And then all of a sudden we're going like thousands of years into the future for Warhammer.
I don't.
That's how I feel like it looks like
I
to me.
don't
That's what it looks
think-
like to me.
You know there was cars in New Capenna, right?
Yeah, there was
Mhm.
cars
I didn't love New Capenna either.
and
But-
machine guns. Oh, that's just a hot take right there. New Capenna was
Yeah.
amazing.
I don't like the
The only problem with New
gangster
Capenna is
vibe. Like
I
the
loved it.
Yeah, I
Ob
don't know.
Nixilis as a crime leader. What?
That's just not my era. That's just not my era, personally.
I loved it. The 1920s aesthetic.
He's the fancy elves,
The
with
art-
swords and
the-
bows.
The Art Deco, I think is what they call it. I loved it, and I wish they had spent another block on New Capenna, but
I'm
we're
sure
not
they'll go
talking about
back.
New Capenna. I hope so. Warhammer, though, I am probably gonna buy a precon, the Grixis precon. Actually, I'm probably just gonna leave it as the precon because of all the alternate art on it.
Mhm.
Because I just don't see myself putting those cards.
You're just gonna
in
play
any
the
other
deck as a precon.
Yeah, and then if I want to build any commanders out of those cards, I'll just buy those singles, like
Yeah.
extra, you know? Because I really like the demon out of the Grixis deck. I think it's going to make a great demon commander. I honestly think it's the first really good demon commander that we've gotten.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it draws you cards and it does damage.
You were saying you were really excited for that because you were looking for it's a really good just demon tribal, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it only works for demons, and he draws you cards off demons, and it's basically like a pandemonium built into a creature. So it really convinces you to lean hard into running only demons, and it rewards you for playing demons, and it's Grixis. It's not Rakdos, which is every single demon deck is Rakdos. Well, I guess that's not
Rakdos
true.
with a splash of blue.
Yeah, it's Rakdos with a splash of blue. Honestly, it's kind of hard to grab cards out of blue to put in the demon deck because they've never had any
Is this how
support
we
in
Ba-
blue.
describe your decks from now on, Alex? It's Rakdos with a splash of white. It's Rakdos with black.
That
with
wouldn't
green.
that
Just
wouldn't be
without
wrong for
black.
you to describe them that way.
So you're talking about Baylakor, the Dark Master. Whenever another demon enters the battlefield under your control, it
Yes,
deals
yeah.
damage equal to its power to any target. That seems really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then when he enters the battlefield, he draws you cards equal to
And
the
you
amount
lose
of
that
demons
much
you
life.
have under your control.
Yeah, no, he's a good demon commander.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
It's yeah.
See, I was on to cut you off, but I'm super excited for the Inquisitor.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, but having a good Esper, like there's a lot of good Esper commanders, but
That card
know,
is
whenever I play
busted, dude. That card is so good.
No, whenever I play fantasy games or anything like that, I always like playing like an Inquisitor or a Crusader, and the fact that I get to play those now, I'm like, yes.
I don't. Again, I'm not a card designer, but like, I don't know how that card shipped that way. That's gonna be like an auto include in every single human deck.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's Esper, which is the exact colors that it
control.
needs to be. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'll
It's
buy
really
one
good.
from this set. We'll see. I might look at them.
I bought all four.
You're
I just don't like
lame.
I don't know. Some of the monsters look really cool. I just don't like the humans really. if that makes sense.
The humans
like
are the best part.
armor and the guns and stuff and the laser
I wish there
beams.
was a
Like, why
planeswalker.
are you shooting laser beams at my elves with bows and arrows? How am I supposed to win? It's not fair.
Yeah, how are you supposed to win?
There's
You're
dragons breathing fire, dog.
not. Yeah, just
Yeah,
get
no.
on a dragon, bro.
It's not fair.
We'll talk about a set that you want to
All
talk
right.
about, Jason.
Yeah, talk about what you're.
That
Yeah.
you're actually excited
So the first set that's standard, the next standard set coming out is the Brothers War. I am so excited for this set. I love the Brothers War lore. So I recently listened to, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it. It's called Fantasy Geographic. It's a YouTube channel made by the professor or the Tolarian Academy. He does a really good job, but basically he just took the lore and he tells the story, kind of a shortened version. It's still really long and he goes really in depth, and I think he does a really nice job. So if any of you want to check that out, we'll try to remember to put a link in the description for this, because just a quick shout out to the Fantasy Geographic channel. It's really, really cool. And he puts a lot of work into it, but basically he just laid out all of this lore for us. And it is so cool just seeing all the stories behind the Brothers War and how Urza and Mishra grew up together and how they were both seeking for power and it drove them apart, and then they went to war at each other and they just caused all this destruction, and just the whole story behind it. It's really, really cool. So I'm really excited to see those. But then we got the spoilers for Urza and Mishra. Those are amazing. How powerful they are.
with the
Yeah.
rule change too.
They are so powerful when you get them to meld. It's insane. And oh man, I might have to build Urza just because of how cool it looks, and just I love planeswalkers, and now all of a sudden there's just monstrously powerful planeswalker Urza, and it's really different.
With
He's got 5 abilities, and you can do 2 a turn. He's
Yeah.
insane. He's nuts, but it's very, very difficult to get him right. Like it's not gonna be a walk in the park to get these guys. Like, it's 3 mana for Urza, it's 5 mana for the mana rock, and then it's 7 mana to meld them both together. That's a lot of mana, right? But when you get
Oh, I didn't even see that.
you have to
pay
use 7
meld
mana
them.
to meld
Mm-hmm.
Urza, but
Yeah.
I mean that just sounds really, really cool. Just I don't know. I guess I'm being a bit of a Timmy right now, but I love the entire story behind, and like I just this set's gonna be really, really fun for me personally. Why?
You know why I'm excited for this set?
Oh
Transformers,
gosh.
robots in
Speaking of
disguise.
things that don't fit in the world of Magic together.
Yeah.
How is that don't fit? They are
my
artifacts.
gosh.
Oh my
Transforming
goodness.
cars, yes.
So
You have dragons.
Because look at the art.
Transforming cars.
Yeah.
If anybody isn't up to speed, they changed the rules around meld a little bit concerning just the commander decks in Brothers War. You can have both the creature and the artifact that you need to meld with it in your command zone, which is going to make it a lot easier for you to meld those cards together. And they're printing the entire deck in old border style. So cards that have never had old borders before are going to have old borders now. And I predict that they're going to be super expensive.
I think they're going to be really cool. And I love the change to the meld rule for
Really
these
cool.
2 commanders. I really, really, really wish that they did it with all meld commanders. And I think a lot of people feel the same way, like Brina.
Brina.
Is that her name? Brina and
Yeah.
Giselle,
and,
yeah.
And
I
Gisela.
really wish that they would have done it for
Yeah.
them as well. So we'll see if they end up changing that rule. But yeah,
There's no reason why they shouldn't. I don't
not
even
that
think
powerful.
that, what is it,
Well,
Bracella, when they meld, I don't think it's even that strong.
it's like a
So
what is
they
it?
should.
I wish they would have had a meld. The
Flying
Super Leader, the Transformers. I'm
I
sorry.
mean,
Stop.
they totally could, Maddie. That's the thing. They totally could. That because I don't know if you guys
know.
remember, there was that Transformers like arc or whatever they wanted to call it, where Optimus could get other Transformers to transform into like
Oh my
guns and stuff,
gosh.
and like attach.
And
to
now we're
them.
playing Power Rangers.
So they
How
could do that.
fun!
They could do
Hey,
that.
Hey, Dude, I am so excited for the day that I play Magic, and it's not just I play this line of War Elves. I play Bumblebee into my.
And you're gonna be
Sephiroth.
playing by yourself because
Because
everybody's gonna scoop when you play Bumblebee and
Okay.
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth is too far. Final Fantasy is where I
How
draw
is
the
that where you
line.
draw the line? You accept
Probably not.
Transformers, but
They're
not
in-
Final Fantasy? At least they're using swords and
Not only
magic.
Transformers, but
What?
that's okay. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Honestly, Brothers War looks really good. I'm very excited for it.
Well, it's also exciting to see you get more into the like sealed format that we do at the shop usually when there's pre-releases.
Oh yeah.
You used to hate it, but now you're getting more into it, so it's kind of cool.
So Dominaria kind of opened me up to that, honestly. And
Yeah.
Jason wants to.
Also,
say something.
isn't
Jason, what
Elish
do you
Norn the
wanna say?
only Phyrexian we have left? Or I guess technically, what's...
Yes. Well, we won't get her till the next not
Oh,
after
really?
after Brothers War. We'll get her.
Sad.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Elish Norn.
I wonder what she's gonna do. I wonder if she's still gonna be.
Oh yeah,
token focused.
it looks like it's coming in.
It's got to be something tied to Ashiok.
Ashiok.
Yeah, there's a thing that Elish Norn admits that Ashiok is the only. No, Ashiok found out from Elish Norn's nightmares that she fears Elspeth. There's something like because she's like something about her spark. I don't know. I'm not a lore expert. I don't want to give false info out, but it's pretty cool how like it's tying back all these planeswalkers. But it's also exciting because after this happens, this block, it's gonna be a reset like War of the Sparks. So where are we gonna be? Last time we did that, we went to Eldraine, and now we gotta go back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah,
man.
this is.
Mishra looks really cool.
Mishra is gonna be.
Honestly, I mean, because he's
Holy
Rakdos.
strong, man. He comes in tapped and attacking.
cough.
And he just blows
Mhm.
everything up when he enters. Yeah, Mishra, and he's a lot easier to get because you don't have to pay 7. You just have to attack with him in the Dragon Engine, right? Let's see. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. If you have a lot of mana though with Urza, you could do that.
That's a
in one
lot of
turn.
mana.
Mishra, you have to make sure they have haste.
It is a lot of mana, but doesn't he make free power stones, or is that Mishra?
That's Mishra.
Oh, okay.
No, well, you could use the old Urza though, and just get a bunch of artifact tokens.
What are you
Oh,
talking
my
about?
goodness. Let's not do that.
Oh, you're just talking about to get the mana. Yeah, there's lots of ways to get the mana,
yeah,
but
that's,
it's still
that's what I'm saying.
you have to get the mana. Like the Might Stone and the Weak Stone is 5 mana.
But you have to, it's
Urza
not-
is 3 mana. I guess technically the Might Stone and the Weak Stone is only 4 mana if you have Urza out because it costs 1 less to cast because he makes artifacts cost 1 less. And then
Yeah.
That's
So
and
it's-
then when it
synergy
enters
right
the
there,
battlefield, you draw 2 cards and then it taps for 2 mana. So it's maybe not as bad as I thought, but it's still not great. That's synergy right there.
Well, I'm just saying I think Misha's gonna be a little bit harder because you have to be.
I don't know cuz it's so much cheaper.
It's in the right colors to give it haste.
Plus-
though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, it's also the same controller in blue and white. It's in the colors for control.
It is,
You can
and
control
I
and
really
in
think Mishra's going to
artifacts.
be easier. And I actually think Mishra's might be more powerful.
Yeah, which is
Choose
which is also
3?
correct
Like,
in the lore,
holy
right?
crap.
Because Urza sucks.
Urza sucks.
Was that too much of a hot take?
I mean,
that
somebody
was a
won
little
and
too
somebody
much.
lost.
Apologize.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, technically, didn't they use the like weird thing that just came out in Dominaria with Karn? The dish thing.
Yeah. I can't remember what that
That
thing's
was
called.
that was
Silence or whatever.
after.
I just remember what it does.
Well, I thought that was.
No, he built
Yeah.
that to fight the Phyrexians after Mishra was out of the picture. Actually, I haven't finished the lore, so I don't really know what happens to Mishra. I guess I should mention that. But he built that boat thing, I can't remember what it's called, to fight as a weapon to destroy the Phyrexians. And then the Phyrexians,
Okay.
the Weatherlight, is that what it's called? Yeah. The Phyrexians took it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nutty. Ye old Phyrexians coming to naught. All right. Speaking of Phyrexians, the next set is there's 3 Phyrexian sets. There's Phyrexia All Will Be One. Isn't that not ominous? And then March of the Machine, and then Aftermath. This 3-set block is so ominous. Like, look at those names. All Will Be One. That's so for anybody who doesn't know, that's Phyrexia's goal is just make everything one hive mind kind of thing. And that's what all the Praetors are trying to do. They're all working towards that goal, and I guess Urbrask is kind of the only one that's not super sold with it, but he still is kind of helping out with them. And then March of the Machine, so it's like the war starts or something, like the war, the war, and then there's Aftermath, like what's it gonna look like after this huge war where everything's just destroyed, everything's annihilated. It's just gonna be a huge war, and it does not look very good for people that aren't Phyrexian based on the names of the sets, if you ask me. And the other thing I want to talk about with these sets, and we don't know a whole lot about them, but Phyrexian abilities are extremely powerful in Commander. So things like paying life to cast spells, that's extremely powerful, right? All the Phyrexian, not all the Phyrexian cards, but a lot of the Phyrexian cards like Gitaxian Probe, like what's that guy's name that we love? The Black Crick. Like
Crick.
Those effects are extremely powerful in Commander because you have so much life total.
And the new Defilers in Dominaria are pretty good too for that same
Yeah,
reason.
It only does 1 of the mana though.
Yeah, I know, but still, like.
Oh no, it's just 1. You can only do 1 per.
That would make them broken.
But that makes sense why they're also not legendary though.
Yeah,
so
yeah. No, because Crick is special that way.
And then not only the Phyrexian cost, but also we were talking about it earlier, poison damage comes with Phyrexia. Infect, which is also extremely powerful in Commander. So I'm wondering if we'll see some powerful Infect cards in these new sets that are going to make some people really mad because nobody likes playing against Infect.
I don't think they're going to bring back Infect. Don't quote me on this, YouTube, but I think they said they wouldn't ever bring Infect fully back because it's for what a format it is, it's not viable. I don't know for sure. It was something like that though, but we'll see. If they do, cool. I love Infect too. Infect, mass land destruction.
Yes, you do.
So
They're honestly, Infect is really in a weird spot because a lot of people hate Infect because you die to 10 damage regardless how much health you have, right? So maybe they could make Infect a little less harsh if they did bring it back. Maybe up the damage to 15 or make it the same as Commander, 21 to kill somebody. I think they could bring it back comfortably without pissing too many people off, to be honest with you. We thought we'd never get Myriad again, and they ended up bringing that back. And I don't feel like it was very strong. I barely ever see any Myriad cards in my games anymore, besides like Wizards of Thran.
Wizards of Thay?
Really good.
Yeah.
Thay. Yeah, sorry, I don't play blue, so
that's my favorite card from
names.
This set.
Yeah,
you're about to be playing blue if you're building that demon deck.
I know.
He's not actually gonna put blue in it.
Yeah.
He's just gonna have all the lands that make every color, and he won't actually put any blue lands in it, just so he can cast his commander. And Arcane Signets, Felwar Stones, Command Towers, all that jazz.
No, the only blue lands around are the Xander's Lounge,
the Triomes,
Watery Grave.
Yeah, the Grixis ones.
The Triomes and the Shock lands. That's it. Just so he can search them if he needs them. That's it.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Jason. Like, Phyrexia definitely brings with it a lot of powerful commander type abilities that we've been seeing since they were introduced.
I just love how ominous it sounds. That's my favorite thing about it. And like, supposedly this is going to change the world of Magic forever, and everything's going to be so different because of the aftermath. That's what they're trying to call it, is like the aftermath of this giant war with Phyrexia. And like, are we going to finally see Phyrexians be wiped off, all the planes forever? And like, because we've seen Phyrexians for so long, and they're the greatest threat to the multiverse. It's like, are they going to finally get rid of them, and what's it going to cost?
One of the
I think it's the greatest threat. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I think that'll draw.
They're a big threat, but I think like unanimous, like maybe that's just because that's what was happening in the books, but like Urza always calls Phyrexians the greatest threat to the multiverse. He's always saying that, and maybe it's just because he doesn't know about other things or something. I don't know, but Phyrexians are just they're crazy. I don't know. I love Phyrexians. Eldrazi's are lame.
Yeah, I don't
No,
like
they're
them.
not.
I
Eldrazi's are so
no.
cool.
No.
The fact that we don't even know who the original
You know what?
Eldrazi is, and all the Eldrazi we know are just splinters off of that.
Yeah, that
guy
is nuts.
is crazy.
The
How is that
lore is
not
really
cool?
cool. The cards, I think they're lame.
Or, I mean, that thing. I
The
guess.
cards, I don't like the Eldrazi cards.
And their names are so cool. It that
Emrakul,
betrays,
yeah.
like Emrakul, the Promised End. Like they have such cool.
I don't like
ominous
playing the
names.
Eldrazi.
Oh, but I can't play Optimus Prime.
No,
leader of
because
the Autobots.
we're not.
Shut up with your Transformers, Maddie.
Don't. I will always.
My
That'll be my
goodness.
hot take. It's like my arcane signet hate. I will never
Yeah.
let it go.
Honestly, Phyrexia is pretty cool. It will be cool if like we'll see it go either way, right? Like Phyrexia will either die or
One other
it'll
thing,
take over.
if I can.
Yeah, go
So
for
we've seen Elish Norn, and we've seen in the lore kind of that one of her biggest fears is Elspeth, right? And Elspeth in New Capenna just got a sword made by angels, right? The Luxior.
Yes. Yep.
And so she has the tools
Yep.
that she needs to fight the Phyrexians. I wonder how that's going to play into all these sets with Elish Norn versus, because they've been, I feel like they've kind of been hyping up, Elish Norn versus Elspeth for a while. I want to see that fight happen. I'm excited for that.
Well, because and that could be a centerpiece of one of these expansions because Brothers War they've already kind of spoiled is going to be about Urza and Mishra, right? So who knows? Maybe like All Will Be One is going to be about Elspeth and
That'd be really cool.
Elish Norn,
Well, I don't think it's about Elspeth. I think it's just about Elish Norn, and I think what she's been doing, because it's kind of made it obvious that she is.
She's like the main.
Yeah.
She is the thoughts. She's leading everything. Maybe what has she been doing since we last saw her in Meridian? We've seen the other Praetors.
What do you guys know about the 4-color Atraxa? I don't know anything about this Praetor for some reason.
I don't either.
It's technically the first Praetor.
I don't know any of the lore behind this. Do you think
All
we'll
I-
get
all
another
I
one?
know.
Like, do we know anything about this? Like after
yeah.
Elish Norn, do you
Another
think
deck.
Atraxa will come
Yeah.
and we'll get another Atraxa?
I
Well,
think
maybe
I think they announced that, didn't they? Because we talked about I thought we were talking about what she would do, and I said she's probably
I
going to
think
be
we were
just
just
as boring.
speculating though.
Yeah, I think we're
Oh,
just speculating
okay.
on that.
Okay.
But that'd be cool. But I don't know. It's definitely we'll see what happens. But I'm excited to see what Elish Norn is because she's one of my favorite Praetors. The green, her and Vorinclex always are my favorite.
No, I think a new Atraxa would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I think all the Praetors are really cool. So
Well, and also we're getting going back to Brothers War. Speaking back to that, we're getting finally cards of Gix, Ashnod or Ashnod. It's like we're getting those cards for real, for finally. It's not just they're
Like these people, these people that have been
legends.
talked about. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
actually seeing them. Well, they seem to be doing that a lot lately, and I wonder where we go after they've finally done them all.
They have
you know
so
what I
many.
mean?
Well, maybe that's the point, and that kind
Yeah.
of leads great into like where Jason was like, "This is gonna be a big change." To
Yeah,
how
but-
we see Magic.
Sorry,
And
go ahead.
last-
Finish. Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, Ashnod was the lady that worked with Mishra a lot during the Brothers War. So I really hope.
Well, she taught both.
Kind of. So like, I'm trying to remember correctly, but basically, Mishra and Urza had already split up and they were kind of gone their own ways. And this is before the war all started. Ashnod met up with Urza and they started working together. But yeah. So I'm really excited. I always thought that Urza was kind of over Ashnod because he had control of the dragon engine. So he was kind of like the number one minus like the king or whatever. I'm butchering this a little bit, I'm sure, but I'm really excited to see an Ashnod card. That'll be really fun.
Before we move on, how many planeswalkers do you think are
Stop
going to
it.
complete in this block?
All the ones that are chibi.
All the chibi
Yeah,
ones.
you think so? Because
Everyone.
so, I honestly thought that because of the chibi theory, I honestly thought that Angrath was next. However, the fact that we're going back to Ixalan makes me kind of wonder about that. And I don't want to talk too much about that because we want to talk about that later. But I wonder if we're going to see other planeswalkers completed first before we go into the other ones.
This is gonna be a weird. I don't know. I probably have to look this up. And if you watching this know, can new planeswalkers?
Yeah,
appear
people
still?
can. Don't random people just randomly have a spark in them? I don't.
Well, something has
Yeah.
to happen to cause it. I know that.
Yeah,
much. I didn't know
they
if
have to have their spark ignited. But I think anybody can have a spark ignited. Also, you can get a spark
Oh, I
from
didn't know
someone
that.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take a
Oh
spark
yeah,
from someone
because
else, just
yeah,
like
that's how
Nicol
Card
Bolas
Bolas
was doing
did.
that to everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
And also Obnixilis lost his spark at one point, remember? And then he ended up taking it
Oh, I
from
didn't know
someone
that
else,
either.
so he
That's
could
sweet.
planeswalk again.
but yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
they'll ever stop making planeswalkers. I hope not. Planeswalkers are my favorite.
Well, no, stop making. I just mean like lore wise. I didn't know if like
Oh,
there would be
no
no
way.
new planeswalkers. It had to be like a big thing. I didn't know if
There's no
I
way
missed
they
something
just
like
stop
that.
making
No.
like new planeswalkers.
Personally, if they complete the Gatewatch like everybody thinks that they're going to, I think they're going to have a new Gatewatch. Like obviously it's not going to be called Gatewatch, but I think it's going to be a new
Watchers
like
of the Gate.
Avenger. I think it's going to be like a new Avengers type like team, you know?
So let's see. You got
The new Avengers. Well, in War of the Spark, they already
Yeah.
kind of started doing that because Kaya took an oath, and I can't remember who, but there were a few new planeswalkers that took an oath. What's that guy's name? What Teferi? I thought he always was he new in War of the Spark to the Gatewatch. I feel like he's been in there for a
No.
while.
he's not new.
Was
I
he
don't
not?
think he was part of the Gatewatch technically. I don't. But lore wise, I don't know.
Yeah, they've kind of
But,
already started forming, adding new members to the Gatewatch. We saw a bunch in the War of the Spark.
I'll edit it real quick. I'm gonna edit this part out, but we should probably wrap it up.
Oh, all right. Let's hit Throne of Eldraine real quick, and then Ixalan. Or do you not want to?
Okay.
We can wrap it up
Good,
here.
Jason? Yeah, we can wrap it up here.
I mean,
Back
like,
action.
we're just speculating on the last two expansions.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
just
no,
why are
I
you
know
excited
about
to
all
see
the
Eldraine?
issues.
We can talk about it, but we don't have to. I don't care.
Yeah, but we can talk about it. We can
Sure,
talk about it
okay.
in another
Another
episode.
episode.
Yeah.
Like when maybe when we're in when all will be one. We get like spoilers or something.
All right,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
were we?
Probably not. But.
We're good.
Okay, so you're gonna keep recording. I can edit both. If you just give me your audio, I can edit it out. Don't worry. So okay, so 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Phyrexia looks
Where
really
were
cool.
we? I don't remember. What
I
were we
don't-
talking about
I
when you
don't
cut us
remember.
off?
We kind of got off topic. We were
We were
talking
talking
about.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Planeswalkers.
the War of the Spark and the Gatewatch and all that shit.
So yeah, like who would be the new like if you had to think about the new 5 planeswalkers to replace the original 5?
Angrath is going to be the new face.
No
of Magic.
way. No
You guys got to deal with
shot.
that. Minotaur
No.
pirate.
I can't
Said
remember
that.
who took an
Don't
oath
tell me
in War of the
Oko.
Spark, but except for Kaya. I just remember Kaya. She definitely did.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kaya becomes the new Jace.
Yeah, I could see it.
Honestly.
She's really cool.
Well, and
I could
her aesthetic fits in all the planes, right? Like, I make a joke, but Angrath is a Minotaur pirate. Like, you can't really put him in any of the planes and make him work. You know what I mean?
Well, it's also like the twins. They could be. They definitely fill in not just one spot. They fill like Chandra's spot as being like the big damage dealer with.
Oh, Chandra.
Rowan.
Chandra could definitely be pushed to the front too. I mean, she kind of already is in a lot of things, but she's kind of always in the background, I feel like.
It would be kind of cool to see what happens, and especially with them saying that this is going to be affecting magic. I'm excited to
Garuk.
see.
Garuk has got to make a comeback.
I
Yes, come
wanna see a
on.
Selesnya Garuk.
Long story short,
Dude.
I don't want to see too many of my favorite planeswalkers get completed. It makes me sad. I don't want Nissa to get completed.
Dude,
I don't want
honestly,
Liliana to get completed. I don't want Jace to get completed. And I don't. And Tommy already
They
got
could-
completed. They already killed one of my favorites.
And a Johnny. Don't forget about
Johnny's
a
Johnny.
A Johnny's great. How dare you?
Yeah, he's great because
I'm sure-
counters.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, they could just clean house. I mean, they have a ton of planeswalkers that I feel like they don't really know what to do with in the lore anymore. That they could just say, oh, these guys are completed. Now they're dead. So stop talking about them, please.
Well, we're also going to see, if we remember, go all the way back to Theros Beyond Death, Calyx is hunting Elspeth.
That's true.
So, like, is he going to come back in the next couple sets with Elspeth?
I
Like, did he
don't know.
find her finally?
Yeah.
Or,
Well,
who knows, maybe Elish Norn took him. That'd be kind of cool. He's using him as a tracking thing for her.
Maybe we'll get another War of the Spark. I just thought about that. Maybe, no, honestly, like maybe this will draw all the planeswalkers to this plane to like fight the Phyrexians in the March of the Machine, and then all the sets that come after Aftermath will be like the story will continue from the war. You know what I mean? Instead of having like a contained story on the plane, it'll be like, this is what this planeswalker did after.
I
they
wonder if they're
fought
just
the
going to try and
Phyrexians.
reset the lore, kind of. Just do a hard reset so they can start from scratch with Aftermath and just like say, okay, literally everybody's dead. There's nobody left. Nobody you remember is alive. Everybody's dead. Like, they could do that as well and just like, that's what the Aftermath is like literally like, there's only a couple planeswalkers left. There's some obscure people that didn't even, participate in the war that you've never heard of or something, or they're new ones that just got their spark, and I don't know, maybe. It's cool to think about.
I don't
been
think they'll
fun.
do that.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't think they'll
excited to
do
see
that.
it.
Because, sorry, one last thought before we go. I don't think they'll do that, and the only reason why is because they kind of have always had a chance. They've had several chances to kill main characters to kind of move on with the story, and they haven't. Like, a great example that comes to mind, and this bothered me. I don't know if it bothered anybody else. Obnixilis in New Capenna becoming the new crime lord. He single-handedly killed like 5 heads of the Cry families in like a matter of a couple days in the lore. It was kind of dumb. It was like he just rolls into this plane, identifies who's the bosses are, and just takes them out immediately. And they could have
That's how
easily.
you do it, though.
What's up?
That's how you do it, though. You
It's
take
so
over.
dumb. And they
He
could
has literally a card that says hostile takeover.
It's true. And Murder, the reprint of Murder too was also part of that. It rubbed me the wrong way, and they could have made it so Obnixilis actually lost and he could have died. And they could have replaced him in the lore with a new demon because it was a demon.
You just want
plane,
more
You know what I
demons.
mean? I do. I really
I just want more
demons.
planeswalkers, so
I really
that'd
want
be
more
cool for
demons
both of us.
besides
That's fine with me.
Obnixilis. Yeah, honestly, they could have.
You know what real quick, you know what I want?
Huh?
To call this episode done.
You want Transformers, is what you
I
want.
do. I was gonna say it because you guys are gonna hit me
You
next time you see me.
freaking nerd. All
But
right.
I am.
Let's wrap it
literally
up.
I have video
Magic
game
the
tattoos.
Gathering.
Respect me.
Yeah, we're gonna
Disguise.
get sued. We're gonna get copywritten because of Maddie's arms.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. It's going
We'll
to
wrap
be
this up.
very much destruction.
But a couple of quick things. Wednesdays and Fridays, come play with us. We play Commander at Game Den in Layton, Utah.
North Game Den is what it's
North
called.
Game Den.
Also,
Yes.
It's
Don't
Yeah.
Great little
forget to
store.
like and comment. We like comments. We're trying to interact with you guys more, so please comment on our videos. We'd love to see more
Yeah.
interaction with you guys.
And if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to comment that too.
honestly, yeah. We're hoping that you guys really like our live games. We have a lot of fun making those, and we're definitely gonna put more production value into them as we kind of learn and get money and stuff like that.
Not even that.
Just figure it out.
experimenting on how to do things.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
different
one
editing
day we'll be able
programs.
to unchain Maddie from his desk and hire an editor or something. I don't know.
And maybe we'll be able to
Yeah.
keep him awake during our games
but-
too.
Yeah.
I don't fall asleep when we're playing. I fall asleep when I die, or you take your 25-minute turns. But anybody, have a great afternoon, morning.
Thanks,
whenever you
everybody.
watch this.
Bye.
Bye.